I need some balls. All right, let me present a scenario to you that is very real. Let's say you've been waiting all week to golf, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. It's 65 and sunny on Sunday. You're finally excited to go out and play, and you go out and play, and you just can't make any contact with the ball. And it's just bad hit after bad hit after bad hit. What are you gonna feel like is happening? Well, you're gonna feel like you got the yips, especially if it happens again and again and again and again. And that's kind of the position that I am in right now, where I feel like I'm swinging somebody else's clubs, also with somebody else's body. I'm really trying to figure out what's going on. And I think I know what's developed this, but I'm also gonna talk a little bit about the mental side of things of getting the yips and how to get over it. That's pretty good. Now, let's talk about what are the yips. So the yips, essentially from a psychology standpoint, is performance anxiety. And performance anxiety is essentially what it sounds like. It's anxiety about performing. And with golf, you're always performing. Every single shot, you need to perform. Difficult thing about that is you get instant feedback. Every single shot, I'm getting instant feedback if something felt good or something felt bad, and then there is a result of that. So there's a lot of performance anxiety, and it doesn't necessarily need to be around other people. It can be by yourself, but if I'm around other people, it may enhance that performance anxiety. So if I'm a PGA professional and I'm chipping around the green and I know I need to get a birdie, but there's thousands of people watching me, there's gonna be a lot more performance anxiety, especially if I feel like I got the yips with my chipping. But if I'm just a dude on a Sunday going out with my friends, but I've been hitting it so poorly recently, I'm still gonna have, relative to me, a high level of anxiety. So what do we do? Now that we know the mental side of things, what do we do with that? Hook it into the trees. There's two components to the yips. There is the mental side of things, and then there is the physical side of things. So let's talk a little bit about my case of the whys. So with my case, I feel like I am not making solid contact with anywhere in the club face. I'm imagining most people feel like that. It's mostly with my irons, but it's with everything that is bleeding over into every other area, and I need to catch it quickly to stop that from happening. And it all started maybe like 2 weeks ago, where I went out to have a practice round just to film something, and I could not make any contact. Here's some footage of that. Hopefully I saved that footage. So what causes the yips? For me, this is what happened, and this happens a lot to people in life. Oh, terrible. I worked out, I did a different workout, my body was very sore, and that same day, I went out to play. Now, golf is not a very physically demanding sport, but it's very technical, physically technical sport. So, if my body is not working and is not in sync because I'm exhausted and physically tired, it's gonna be very hard to swing the club the same way. So what happened? I was not able to move my body the way that it is used to, and if one thing is out of sync in the golf swing, everything can fall apart, right? If my body is sore and I'm not turning my body enough, well then the rest of my body is going to try to figure out how do we swing the club like we used to when I physically can't do that. So for some people, that is because they're hungover. That's pretty good. Some people, they're hungover, they go out and play the next day, the contact is so bad, and then from there, you start to think, I can't hit the golf club anymore, right? So for me, I was making poor contact and I was filming it, and I'm like, damn, I suck, right? And then the next day, I went to go do that, but I had the thought that, hey, I'm worried about hitting it off the toe like I was yesterday, and I can't make contact. So what happens? I repeat the process. And that is how the yips develop. You have one bad round, you have one bad instance of ball striking, and then from there, it gets into your head and you get in your own way. And because it gets into your head, now my body is not performing the same way that it was performing when I was confident. Makes sense? Makes sense. Oh, terrible. There's also the physical side of things, where physically, maybe something happened, I'm recovering from an injury, my body is sore, whatever it is, and my body can't perform the same way that it used to. So there is the reality that my body just may be swinging differently. However, for the most part, it's probably going to be 90% mental for most people. That could be chipping. You're worried about chipping around the green because I've been chipping it so poorly lately. Now when I'm around the green, I'm thinking, don't pick it up. What do? Well, I mess it up. I'm hitting off the tee, right? I've been hitting it, I've been overfading it, I've been pulling it, and because now I'm off the tee, I'm thinking don't pull it, so my body is overcompensating for that, and I'm messing it up. I'm not swinging with confidence anymore. So what do we need to do? We need to build in that confidence again. Ooh. Pretty good. So, what are the steps that I am taking to do that? It may not work for you. This is what works for me. So what I'm doing is, whenever I find myself in going from good ball striking to bad ball striking, I know I need to reset my mind and take my mind out of the golf swing. And most people can probably benefit from this. My mind is getting in the way of my golf swing. And because of that, I'm thinking about what could go wrong. I'm thinking about hitting it off the toe. My mind, your mind and your body are connected, obviously, right? But my mind is very good at overpowering my body from doing what it knows how to do. If I turn my mind off, my body will figure it out because it's done it so many times before. But if my mind is actively interfering with that signal, well, it's going to be overcompensating for what my mind is trying to tell it to do. If I'm worried about hitting it right and I'm thinking don't hit it right, my body may overcompensate and hit it way left, right? Because, well, it's done what my mind is telling it to do. So I am trying to turn my mind off with the golf swing. Maybe have one swing thought. I'm trying to have none, right? And it sounds crazy, but ideally I'm trying to let my body go back to what it knows how to do. It has so many reps with doing what it knows how to do that all I need to do is let my body do what it knows how to do. And then once it starts feeling good, the confidence will start to come back in. But at first, the confidence is not gonna be there, and that's fine. I don't need the confidence to be there. I just need to kind of overpower that initial threshold of I'm hitting it poorly. Ooh, look at that, a little baby jaw. Love to see it, right? So now that I hit a good ball, I'm building confidence again that, hey, I can do it. Now, of course, it's different on the driving range versus the course, but you want to build it on the driving range ideally so you can get those bad reps out of the way. If you're doing it on the course, there's going to be more negative results, which could reinforce that I am not confident in my golf swing. And that's not what we want. So for me, it helps to just turn my body off, go to the range, hit some balls with a target in mind, and try to let my body do what it needs to do to get the ball where I want it to go. And then from there, mentally, I start to re-engage over time with, all right, the ball is starting to go where I want it to go. It feels good on the club face. Let me see if I can work the ball a little bit more, if I am able to do that beforehand. If I was never able to work the ball, well, don't try to do that, right? I mean, this is a driving range, yes. But the worst thing that you can do, or two things, and I see this all the time, is one, if I have the case of the yips, what I don't want to do is try to change my golf swing just on my own, willy-nilly. See, I tried to play a fade and it was abysmal. And I'm gonna work on my fade again because I like playing the fade. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to start to change my swing and do a lot of weird different things. Why? Because then I'm going to try to teach my body a new swing thought, a new swing feel that it hasn't learned before. And we all know how hard it is to do something new in the golf swing. So I'm gonna be reteaching my body a bunch of bad behaviors that I don't need to teach it. I need to re-engage with the behaviors that it knows what to do. And that's why I need to take my brain out of it. But I see people all the time, they go on the course, they're not hitting it well, and their friend is like, hey, why don't you, you moved your head. Just stop moving your head. Oh, put the ball further back, further forward in your stance. Keep waiting on your front. Now you got 15 different swing thoughts and you're on hole 4. You're thinking too many things, you're changing up your swing too much, when in reality is you need to take your mind out of the golf swing more often. You could think about a target, but if I visualize a target, my body is going to want to hit the ball to that target. So I'm gonna aim to that target. As long as basic things like my alignment is fine, standard things like that that you can enhance, I don't want to think about what do I need to do. I don't want to think about keeping my hands behind me. I don't want to think about doing a swirl and trying to get more shallow than anyone has ever done in the history of golf. I just want to think about hitting it to the target. And I may or may not hit it to the target, but as long as I am working towards that direction, that is what I want. And that is how you get over the performance anxiety. And then as you build confidence in, you start hitting some better shots, it'll be like it never even happened. If you're doing it with a driver, you gotta do the same thing. Imagine an imaginary fairway, hit the drive, work your way up onto where you were before. A good drill that I like, I made a whole video on the stepladder drill, but a good drill that I like is keeping my feet together, just like a chip, and chip with every single club in my bag. Why? Because I'm working on better contact and a better low point, and keeping my feet together will take out a lot of problems that could happen with my rotation. And then from there, so say I tip a ball like this, good contact, great. Went where I want it, I'm going to take a slightly wider stance, and then I'm going to hit another shot. Ball where I want it, good, I'm going to take a slightly wider stance. But the benefit of this drill for me is it gets me to know where in my golf swing are things going wrong. If I can do a little chip shot like this and it goes perfectly, I know that this area of the golf swing is fine for now, right? At least this distance. If I'm going to a full swing and it starts to go wrong, I'm going to close my stance up one little baby step, and I'm gonna do maybe this 3/4 swing again, and I'm going to see, all right, does the ball go where I want it? Does it feel good? Yes. You can watch that video, I explain it more. But anyway, that's what I'm going through with over the yips, and that is what you can do to try to get over the yips as well. If you have any other strategies that work for you, comment below. I don't know. Until next time.